The Incredibles are back after a 14-year hiatus, and the movie picks up right after the last. The movie is definitely one of the most hyped movies, period. By the way, make sure you check out the speed art that just got uploaded to the channel. You can check it out in the link below, or you can check it out in the card above. Let's get into the end of the movie, though. We're right where the last one ended with The Incredibles 2, where the Incredibles are fighting off the Underminer, which we saw at the end of the first movie. Tony is witnessing this, so he has to be mind wiped because he sees Violet take off her mask, which will create the drama Violet goes through. We're trying to get Tony to remember her after he asked her out in the first movie, but now he remembers nothing of that, so it creates a lot of melodrama with her character. Now we're just going to go ahead and talk about this movie straight and just go to the ending. I'll make another video later this weekend talking more in depth about it and also the Easter eggs, but let's just talk about what exactly happens in this movie. I'll skip over some of the details and whatnot and just go straight to it. So the fight that ensues causes mass destruction with the Underminer, and we basically have a Civil War-esque outcry from civilians and leaders all around who are like that superheroes are actually bad because they might be doing something good, but they cause a lot of destruction behind them. So after all this, they get in trouble, and it causes the super relocation program to be shut down, forcing all supers to now go by their secret identities. They are then approached by a tycoon, Winston Dever, who would like to get the supers to regain the public's trust and support, as he's a big time fan. He does this by having Elastigirl be the main super to fight crime, and basically just have all the focus on her until we can bring more trust and support, and then ultimately all the supers back. While she's doing this, they get Mr. Incredible and the other family a house they can stay at, and he's just basically gonna take the back seat and take care of the kids in the new home that Dever provides. With Mr. Incredible now being closer to the kids, this is where he discovers what we all knew from the first movie and the Jack Jack short, is that Jack Jack actually has many powers, which obviously, as we've all seen, can't be controlled. He decides to take him to Edna to study him and help him out with any way possible. She makes a device that will help the family when Jack Jack's powers surface and be able to control them. We go back to the main storyline with Elastigirl. As she's starting to unravel, there is a supervillain out now, and she has to deal with it herself, as she notices one day a train going backwards. After saving the train, she notices that the driver's room actually has a screen that is hypnotizing him. She then encounters the supervillain again after having to save an ambassador, so she decides to come up with a plan to lure it out by making a public interview, since she knows he's out to get her and he will definitely be watching. This works, and she's able to track him down, and they have a huge fighting sequence that many people I've seen in reviews and whatnot calling very epileptic due to all the fighting and the flashing lights that go about and fast movements. He manages to bring down the Screenslaver, only to find out that it's just a decoy or a slave of the actual one who is out there hypnotizing everybody. And this decoy was actually hypnotized as well. She goes to a celebration after everybody's assuming that she defeated the Screenslaver back at Dever's. While at the party, Elastigirl realizes that the real Screenslaver is actually closer to her than she can imagine. But before she can even bring this up to anybody else except Evelyn, she is now overpowered by her, and she is brainwashed as well. We then find out that Evelyn is the actual Screenslaver, and she did this because she is upset about how humanity has become so dependent on the supers that it led to her own parents' death. So her parents ultimately died because her father was so dependent on the supers that he didn't try to do anything else rather than to get a hold of them, but ultimately he died, and the mother died of heartbreak. So now she wants to brainwash world leaders so that they cannot re-legalize supers again. With Elastigirl now under her control, she manages to use her to lure Mr. Incredible and Frozone to brainwash them as well as the other supers that we met earlier in the film. So now it's up to the kids, Jack Jack, Dash, and Violet, to save their parents and the other supers, and basically everybody else. Evelyn starts to develop a plan where she will make the supers come off as sinister to the world and its leaders, and has a yacht event where all the leaders go, and they are there to witness these supers basically go evil now. The kids manage to make it in time, but Evelyn decides to just make the yacht crash into the city, and basically this is gonna go like, oh, look at what they did and whatnot. Should really have like them be legalized and all this. The kids, however, do manage to get the goggles off their parents and Frozones, and they all fight the other supers as they try to take their goggles off as well, as they will need everybody's help to be able to get this yacht away from the city and not crash into it and catch Evelyn. Evelyn has now escaped trying to take her brother Winston, which he refuses as he is a big time of the supers and he doesn't agree with her. Ultimately, Elastigirl, with the help of Void, who can teleport, follow Evelyn to her plane. After a quick fight which involves gas that makes Elastigirl pretty loopy, she does manage to blast Evelyn with a flare gun before steering the jet into the ocean, and her and Void save Evelyn, all of them landing back on the yacht. The Frozone has now managed to stop, and the world leaders see this and they are like, we're legalizing supers after this. So the film ends, and with Violet finally going back on a date with Tony, which her whole family accompanies her to, but soon is cut short when they notice a group of robbers and pursue them, dropping off Tony. Violet promises she'll be back, and just like that, we're off to another great adventure we hopefully won't have to wait 14 years to see again. So in short, the movie dealt with Evelyn, who was angry after her parents' death because of how dependent they were on the supers, that she just wants to get rid of them all now, because she sees humanity's dependence on them as weak and we shouldn't be dependent on them. She becomes a screenslaver to hypnotize world leaders to sign this legislation, but ultimately the supers prove that the world still needs them in the end. So what's next? Incredibles 3? I sure would like to think so. Seriously, this movie is making serious bank and is breaking records left and right. There's no way they wouldn't make another one, but I hope it's in the next 2 years, because the wait is excruciating if it's another decade and a half. So with all of that being said, what did you think of the movie? I will be making another video this week and talk about where I think the direction of the new movie can go, and if they decide to branch off other characters, because a lot of the supers in this movie were pretty awesome, especially Void, so I would like to see maybe a spin-off of sorts come about this, but who knows. And I will also be having that Easter egg video maybe later tonight or tomorrow, so make sure you tune in for that. And don't forget to subscribe, like, share, all that good stuff. I have a couple of videos coming out for you soon with Alex Strangelove. We have also a Jurassic World, Would You Be My Neighbor, all that good stuff is coming to the channel, so make sure you tune in for all that. But anyways, as always, I'll see y'all next time. Stay positive.